You're waking up inside a high control religion. It can feel confusing. Asking questions about what you were taught doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you were thinking. If you need support while coming out of a high control religion, visit ExJWFriends.com. You don't have to do this alone.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, everyone. Let us know how our volume is, if you could, please, in the chat. Okay. Well, this is another Wednesday, and Joe's back with us. Yay!
You think I am?
Yes. It was a very long week. Joe had the flu.
Yeah. Kind of hangs on. But we're, I would say 90% back.
I think so. Much better.
Yeah.
It just took a lot out of you. You were tired a lot.
Oh,
slept a lot.
Amazing. Headaches.
Oh yeah, very
body
bad
aches.
headaches. Yep. Yeah, they're saying that it's a very, very bad year for the flu.
Yeah.
And you can attest to that. So we appreciate you all joining us. We've got several in the chat already. And happy thoughts from the UK, Sheila, Jay Mars, and Jane Spitfire. So we have Matthew, Malay Gray, and Jeannie Jewel, Willie B 933, Sten, what's for breakfast? And Eek a mouse, that's Claudia. Welcome everyone. Dallas, hi Dallas, thank you for coming in, and Beverly Harward. And also Sky Graham. Hello everyone. Here's a new one, Ever-Changing Truth. Howdy, y'all. Do we know you? Are you new? Ever-Changing Truth. I like the name. You see any new ones?
No, just wondering.
Welcome back, Joe.
Well, who said that? It says John Fran.
Trevor Walker. Oh. Hello, this is Fran.
We've got an interesting program tonight. Discussion is something that most people are going to have some feelings on. And they're usually not very good feelings. But if we can, maybe we can view what we're going through as an ability to shift the way we think about it. It'll be a challenge. But we're in challenging time as well. And when we're in challenging times, as try as we might to maintain the same old circumstances, doesn't work. We can never restore what we had, even though we'd like to. And this is something we'll discuss.
Okay, yeah, just having to make a quick comment here. Sorry. Okay. So, shall we get right into the birthdays?
Yeah.
Okay, when you're ready, Shauna. January birthdays. No, those are nice and big, too.
Oh, that's good.
You want to take turns, or you want me to do it?
You get started. I'll let you
Okay,
know.
January 1st, Mama Sue. The 4th, Keith Bush. The 5th, Jasmine Hernandez. The 6th, Rita Ivy and David. The 7th, Fallen Ash. The 9th, Andrea Bozert, Christy Ann, and Deanna, just June. 10th, Larry John Wayne and Mark Thurquill. The 11th, Mrs. Bob. 13th, Megan Gilman, Ruth Potter. Today, Michelle Malecki, my sister, and Scott Homan. 16th, Josie, Britt, and Deanna Mayo. 18th, Jeffrey Blut and Dallas. Okay.
19th, January 19th, Katrina, Penny B's daughter. And the 20th, Alyssa Watson. January 21st, Gilbert Gonzalez, Gigi. January 22nd, Claire, Sarah Ramos' daughter. And also Jake Vaughn.
Mm-hmm.
23rd.
The 23rd, Jerron Benton. 24th, Ben Rancourt, Kevin Carter. 25th, Hannah Hurteau, and Mr. CIA's mom, who did pass away the end of December. Keep going.
Yeah.
The 26th, Amabel, Celeste's granddaughter. 27th, Antonio Similia. 28th, Jason Beksinski. 29th, Aubrey Cruz and Bonnie Zeman. The 30th, Beverly Harward, Paul Kohler, Randy D. Brook. The 31st, Kay, Fred, and Wally. Happy birthday, everyone. Okay, next, happy birthday. And we've got some anniversaries.
January 2nd, Vinny and Yvonne Similia. And
January 3rd, Randy and Jeannie Blessing, 48 years.
March 20th, Mr. and Mrs. Pasta Dude. Happy anniversary, y'all.
Happy anniversary. The ExJW stuff. Okay, just making some quick notes here. Okay.
Upcoming events and for the meetups.
Yes. Anyway, give them a text right here. Okay. Invite them to the program. Okay. Okay, so this is an online meetup, and Dylan is doing this. It's going to be every Thursday. So starting tomorrow night, January 15th, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., 1 hour, it says share anything you want, personal wins, things you're going through, what you're feeling to the group. Depending on how many people show up, you will have around 5 minutes to say your piece without anybody interrupting you. You don't have to share. We're also building a phone list for support throughout the week. We can get through anything and live life to its fullest. This group is meant to help support all of us. And the way you can get in touch with Dylan is through his email. It's also on the website. He's one of our therapists, and you can find him on Discord. So it's dylandarish@gmail.com. And again, that's tomorrow night. It's going to be on Zoom. Was there a Zoom link? Did I miss it? How do you get on that, Shauna? Oh, you have to email him, right?
Yeah, sorry. Email Dylan and he will provide the Zoom link. Yes.
Okay, great. Yep. So we hope many of you can join us there. That'll be tomorrow night between 7 and 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be a nice opportunity for people to connect.
Yeah, we really appreciate what Dylan's doing.
Yeah.
He's kind of expanding what we've been
Yeah.
trying to do. So we really appreciate
you're
that,
doing
Dylan.
great, Dylan.
Next one. You want?
The 22nd? You better
Okay,
have
yeah,
my voices.
Yep. January group discussion, online only, January 22nd. This is going to be, all are welcome to join our monthly online group discussion on Thursday, January 22nd at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 o'clock Pacific. In honor of the new year, our theme will be reflections and resolutions. Together we'll celebrate the progress we made in 2025 while looking ahead to new goals and continued growth in 2026. This is a kind, safe, and supportive space where freedom of expression is encouraged and respected. All are welcome, including PMOs, physically and mentally out. There is strength in community, and sharing or simply listening to each other's stories can be deeply validating and uplifting. So this is put on by the Liberati, and you can get there by going to their website, which is listed here. And yep, it'll be on the website. And Ryan A. is the organizer. Any questions? Just go to the website. We're trying to use this website a lot more. And Shauna's been doing a really great job, and she's got some more interesting things coming up. Then there's going to be January 24th, the first 2026 meetup in person at Mission Hills, California. And this is going to be from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And it's going to be at the Presidente restaurant right on Sepulveda Boulevard. We went to that restaurant.
That was the one?
JP took us. It's a Mexican restaurant. It's very nice. Yep. And it's in Los Angeles. So anybody that's close to there, please join them. It's going to be a nice time, January 24th. Again, all the details are on the website. So please check out the website. And please share the website with others. It looks like they're going to have some brunch and bowling in New York City on the 25th between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. That'll be nice. So let's meet up for brunch and bowling on Sunday, January 25th, for a relaxed, fun afternoon together. And of course, it's going to be in Brooklyn. We'll start with brunch at 12 p.m. at Sun Gold, located at 96 Wyeth Ave, Brooklyn. Then head over to the Brooklyn Bowl. Whoops, Debbie's calling. Okay, so if you're in the Brooklyn area, that is again with the Liberati. Sorry for the noise in the background. All of our devices go off. I have to answer it?
It doesn't answer.
Okay. Debbie, we're on. Oh, okay. Call ended. Okay. Yeah. Debbie, if you're listening, we're on live right now. Okay. No, I don't know. Maybe one of these we had to answer it because it comes through all of our devices. I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, the brunch and bowling in Brooklyn on the January 25th from 9 a.m. in the morning to 1 p.m. Also, this is a big one coming up, March 21st and March 22nd, Fear to Freedom, Empowering ExJW Conference, Birmingham, UK. And this is with Jack, and there's going to be a lot of ExJWs there. They're going to have a comedy hour with the goat-like personality. He's going to be there. And they're going to have it at the Holiday Inn, Birmingham City, Queensway, Birmingham, UK. And they give you the Holiday Inn phone number. If you go on the website, you can get all the information. Jack needs to know how many are coming ahead of time because that is a big event, and that is in the UK, so they have limited space. So if you'd like to go there, sounds like it's going to be a great time. And they've got, as you can see, all the different speakers that are going to be there. So I think we covered all of our meetups. And now we've got our friend page, friends and therapist. And we keep adding to it. So Malia Thompson and L. Reno, and of course Shannon and John Briggs, and Dr. Ryan Lee, and David Stambaugh, Jamie Bond, Gary Alt, Michael Shemwell, Halima Farnsworth, Aubrey Cruz, Sarah Schoolcraft, Deanna Moore. Deanna will be joining us again tonight. We have a new to the panel is Elijah Quintanilla. He'll be coming on sometime. And Claudia is in Germany. Claudia Alford and Dylan Darish. And Dylan is the one that is doing the meetup, online meetup every Thursday, and that's on our website. So we really appreciate all these therapists and
great bunch
life
of people.
coaches. They were all Jehovah's Witnesses at one time, so they know what it's like. And if you're in need of a therapist or you want to talk to someone, just look online, and they've got their contact information.
Yeah. You can't help but contrast it with how people that are in just simply really don't have that kind of a choice of different people that they can open up to.
Not at all. You can't talk to anybody.
No. Here we have such a wide-ranging group of very helpful people.
It reminds me one time when we were first coming in, I went to a sister, and the elders told me, oh, no, you can't just go talking to any sister.
Okay.
You know, it's like, oh, my goodness. I should have known right then and there. You said, what is this?
Yeah.
But, you know, stupid. Sorry about
Well,
that.
that's how the way we come to learn
That's right.
the high control
Yes.
that it has on us.
I wasn't stupid. I'm not going to use that term because that's negative. I just didn't know enough, and it took time to find out what they're all about. So
Yes, that's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, our friends, therapists, and life coaches, we are really excited to have them on board. So please reach out to them. There's no reason to stay in silence or, you know, in need. And of course, you can always reach out to Joe and I. We're here, and we'll connect you with others.
There's so many you can connect with.
Yeah. We just had a new one in the St. Augustine area in Florida. So if there's anyone in the St. Augustine area that's looking to meet up, ExJWs, please let us know, because they are probably listening tonight, and maybe they can come on too. All right. Were there any other announcements?
Notes.
I know. These are notes for Let's Talk Shunning.
Oh, yeah. But, of course, you can look at a video first.
Yeah, anytime you're ready.
Yeah.
It's going to be the first 3 minutes of this video and then the last 10 minutes. So hang in there, everybody.
There comes a moment in every empath's life when something in them goes completely silent. Not broken, not angry, just done. Carl Jung discovered this wasn't depression or emotional exhaustion. He called it the final stage of spiritual awakening, and it terrifies everyone who witnesses it, because when an empath stops caring, they don't become cruel, they become untouchable, and that changes everything. Jung spent decades studying patients who reached this state. What he found challenges everything we think we know about empathy, spirituality, and personal transformation. The moment the empath stops caring isn't the end of their journey. It's the beginning of something far more powerful. And understanding why this happens might be the most important psychological insight you'll ever encounter. Today I'm going to show you what Jung discovered about the final letting go, the 3 things empaths release that transform them completely, and why this phase is simultaneously the death of who they were and the birth of who they were always meant to be. Carl Jung observed something in his practice that disturbed him for years before he understood what he was witnessing. His most empathic patients would arrive week after week, drowning in other people's emotions, desperate for relief. Then one day they would walk in completely different, not healed in the way he expected, changed in a way that made him deeply uncomfortable. They had stopped caring, but not in the way you think. What Jung discovered was that the moment an empath truly lets go isn't a breakdown. It's a metamorphosis so complete that the person who emerges bears little resemblance to who they were before. To understand the final letting go, you need to see what Jung saw when he looked at unhealed empaths. He didn't see sensitive people who needed to toughen up. He saw individuals whose psychological boundaries had been violated so systematically from such an early age that they never developed a normal sense of where they ended and others began. These weren't adults who learned empathy. They were children whose survival depended on reading every micro shift in their environment. The daughter who had to sense when her father was about to explode. The son who learned to absorb his mother's depression so she wouldn't harm herself. The sibling who became the emotional translator for a family that couldn't communicate without destroying each other. Jung understood these empaths weren't born this way. They were created, forged in environments.
Okay, Sean, if we can pick up the last 10 minutes, please. Thank you.
Being compassionate without reverting to compulsive caretaking. But the work is worth it, because on the other side of this final letting go, the empath becomes something extraordinary, someone who can hold space for enormous depths of feeling without being drowned by them, someone who can love profoundly without needing to save. What happens when someone successfully cuts off family and completes the psychological work isn't just healing from the relationship. It's a fundamental transformation of how they relate to all relationships. Having learned the hard way what happens when boundaries don't exist, they develop the ability to set and maintain them with surgical precision. They know their limits. They communicate them clearly. They enforce them without guilt. This doesn't make them cold or closed off. It makes them safe. They can be vulnerable with people who've earned trust. They can be generous with people who respect reciprocity. But they're impenetrable to people who want access without earning it. Years of being gaslit by family taught them to doubt their own reality. But walking away and discovering they were right all along, this validates their internal knowing in a way that changes everything. They stop seeking external validation for their truth. They know what they know. They trust what they feel. They believe their own experience. This makes them very difficult to manipulate because you can't convince them to doubt themselves anymore. Jung observed that people who cut off biological family often create the deepest, most authentic relationships because they know the difference between real connection and obligatory performance. These chosen families are built on mutual respect, reciprocity, and authentic care, not on guilt, obligation, or genetic accident. Every person who successfully completes this transformation creates permission for others trapped in similar situations. They prove that letting go is possible, that you can survive the guilt, that building a life without certain people is not only possible, but potentially better. Jung believed this ripple effect was crucial. Each person who breaks the cycle makes it slightly easier for the next person. Each individual who chooses authenticity over obligation shifts the collective consciousness just slightly. Here's what Jung discovered that will fundamentally change how you see this final letting go. The empaths who complete this aren't the ones who failed at love. They're the ones who love themselves enough to stop participating in their own destruction. They looked at the choice between maintaining connection and maintaining their sanity, and they chose sanity. They recognized that love that requires your self-betrayal isn't love. It's captivity with a pretty name. Jung saw this final letting go not as a failure, but as a profound act of psychological health. It's the individual recognizing that their life belongs to them, not to the people who demand their sacrifice. That their primary obligation is to their own well-being, not to maintaining dysfunction for the comfort of others. This doesn't mean they don't love these people. Many empaths who let go still love from a distance. But they've recognized that love doesn't require proximity. That you can wish someone well while accepting they're not safe for you to be around. Society will judge you for this choice. They'll call you cold, ungrateful, damaged. They'll say you'll regret it. They'll insist you should work it out. Jung would tell you that this judgment reveals more about society's need for you to stay unconscious than it reveals about your choice. Systems built on empaths absorbing dysfunction need you to believe that your sensitivity obligates you to sacrifice. That being empathic means you owe everyone access to your energy, regardless of how they treat you. People who let go threaten this system. They prove that you can survive outside these dynamics. That chosen boundaries can be stronger than inherited obligations. And this threatens everyone who's staying in toxic situations out of guilt. If you're an empath in this final phase of letting go, if you've reached the silence and you're terrified because you don't recognize yourself anymore, Jung would tell you, this is exactly right. You shouldn't recognize yourself. The you that you were was built to serve others at your own expense. That you needed to die so the real you could finally emerge. The real you was never meant to be everyone's emotional support system. The real you was never meant to sacrifice everything to keep peace in systems that should have collapsed decades ago. The real you was never meant to love everyone at the expense of loving yourself. What you're experiencing isn't a breakdown. It's a breakthrough into a way of being that most empaths never achieve because they can't survive the deaths required to get there. You had to let go of your helper identity, your hope for reciprocity, and your noble suffering narratives. And that letting go is creating space for something you've never had, a self that belongs to you. The silence you're in right now is necessary. Don't let people rush you out of it. Don't let them convince you that your withdrawal is a problem that needs fixing. You're not hiding from life. You're finally, for the first time, finding yourself beneath all the layers of who everyone needed you to be. And what you'll discover there might surprise you. You might not be as nice as you thought you were. You might not want to help as many people as you thought you did. You might not actually like some of the people you've been maintaining relationships with out of obligation. These revelations aren't evidence that you've become a bad person. They're evidence that you're becoming an honest one, someone who can acknowledge their true feelings instead of performing the feelings they're supposed to have. Comment below, I am sovereign, if you're in this final phase and you recognize what's happening to you. Like this video, if Jung's framework helped you understand that what you're experiencing isn't damage, it's transformation. Subscribe for more content exploring the psychology that society doesn't want you to understand because it threatens systems built on empaths staying unconscious. Your letting go is the most important thing you'll ever do. Not just for yourself, though that would be reason enough, but for everyone who will come after you. Every empath who watches you choose yourself, despite all the pressure to keep sacrificing, creates permission for them to do the same. You're not just healing yourself, you're breaking a generational cycle. You're refusing to pass on the belief that love requires self-abandonment. You're modeling what it looks like to have both empathy and boundaries, to have both compassion and sovereignty. The old you would have kept giving until there was nothing left. The new you understands that you can't pour from an empty cup, and staying full isn't selfish. It's survival. The old you needed to be needed. The new you needs to be whole. This final letting go is your rebirth, and rebirths are messy, painful, disorienting. But on the other side is a version of you that can finally breathe, that can finally rest, that can finally exist without constantly monitoring everyone else's emotional weather. Welcome to your sovereignty. Welcome to your authentic self. Welcome to the life you were always meant to live, not in service to everyone else's needs, but in alignment with your own truth. You've let go of who you thought you were supposed to be. Now you get to discover who you actually are. And Jung would tell you, that discovery is worth everything it cost you to get here. If you haven't yet, check out our new guide, True Self-Discovery, with 24 practical reflection exercises inspired by the teachings of Carl Jung, designed to help you find your way within. Click below to get True Self-Discovery.
Okay. All right.
Well, friends, maybe you found some ideas and situations that resonate with you. It talks about empaths, and it talks about how the need to be needed. Annie, how are you?
You have to unmute yourself, Annie.
Good evening.
There you
How are
go.
both of you doing?
Better.
Not too convincing, but I'm sure you're.
That's all we got.
You're right.
Believe me, he's much better.
That's all you're going to get.
Well, I was really taken back by that. I've listened to a lot of Carl Jung myself, and it's so amazing that you chose that for tonight, because just today I was reflecting on my life and realizing that after watching this, that I don't know as I've called myself an empath. Maybe I have been and didn't recognize it as such throughout my whole life. From the time I was a child, I had such deep feelings for people and love people, and would just want to embrace everyone and take them in and shelter them, and so on and so on. And I have actually said more than once, and even just now since I moved, I think it's yet another step that I've taken, that I look back to what I was like as a young person, and I mean quite a young person, and I don't recognize myself because I have really changed a lot. And I was questioning myself just today as I was working. You know, was this something that needed to happen? And I'm thinking it did need to happen. It was something that I needed to go through, and it did need to happen. I couldn't continue at the level I was at. It would have burned me out long ago.
Right, right,
So,
right.
so I did need to go through these changes. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, they got to think that that empaths are the ones that are hurt by being shunned. Empaths don't shun.
Right, because we're relating this to shunning. That's the theme. Yeah.
And so
Right.
the reason why it works is because they need to be needed. And
Right.
here, basically, people that are shunning you are telling you, we don't need you anymore.
Mhm.
And that really puts a person in a very um, uh, not just isolated, but abandoned situation. Their identity is destroyed. They needed to be needed. Now they're put in a position of not being needed. And if they remain in that situation for very long, they're going to continue to be damaged.
Mm.
That's where
Mhm.
it talks about leaving off being needed and just becoming authentic.
Mhm. Yeah, and rather than having our biological families is
Yeah.
like Joe just said, having our authentic families, ones that we choose, that we want to be around. And we don't have to feel like we're always being needed. I know as a mother of 4, I was always, one of them always needed me for something. And then one by one, when they got older and grew up and left the house and got married, you have that empty nest syndrome.
Yeah.
Well, that's normal. But shunning, it's not normal.
No,
It's
No.
not normal.
no. And see, that's basically an attack on someone who's vulnerable. The person is actually vulnerable.
Hmm.
And in a way, they made themselves vulnerable by declaring themselves needy.
Hmm.
I need to be needed. I will be for you whatever you need. That will fulfill me. And that's why shunning works so well.
Hmm. You want to say hello to Claudia? Claudia, are you knitting or crocheting?
Hi,
Oh boy.
Claudia.
It looks nice. It's beautiful, whatever it is. I know
I'm knitting.
a knitting.
I still
Wow.
have my cold, but even when
Oh,
I don't
great.
have a
dear.
cold, I always have a deep voice. I'm sorry,
Uh-huh.
but I still
Well,
have this cold.
make sure you're sipping your tea or whatever you need. Get your liquids. Yeah. Hi, Deanna. I don't know if you caught the part of the video, but we just watched a little bit of Carl Jung, right? Did I say it right?
Yeah, Carl Jung.
And the whole video, the link is in the chat if anybody wants to go back and look at it. But we were relating it to shunning. And
Well, what we're finding is that there's there are ones that are being shunned that are really deeply affected by
Right.
it.
Right.
They're deeply affected to the extent where it's literally making them sick.
Yeah.
And that's why it works. They do it because it works.
Yeah. We are community beings. We are not independent, solitary. Our very safety and security is tied to our clan. It's tied to our group of people. It's been like that for hundreds and hundreds of years. So when you're suddenly cut off from everyone that you know, it is ridiculously psychologically damaging. Not just because you've lost your friends and you've lost your family, but because you've lost your unit. You've lost the people that are supposed to have your back, your safety, your life is tied to these people that we've put our trust in. it's probably one of the most powerful manipulation tools that the organization uses is the shunning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And at that point, basically, it really is. It's a very large signal,
Mm-hmm.
and the signal is for us to be reactive to that condition, because it's a condition that we basically are are um, are maintaining within ourselves. That desire, I still need to be needed. I
Mm-hmm.
need to be needed by my relative, by my friends, by my father, mother, whatever.
There's very long-term consequences to it too. So even if a person is reinstated, even if a person reestablishes a new
Doesn't work.
clan outside,
Terrible. It's
it's
terrible.
they have their trust muscle has
Yeah.
been completely damaged,
Yeah.
and really needs to be repaired because in I was talking to one of my a very close friend of mine last night, is never a witness or anything, and I was telling, we were talking about what a good healthy friendship that we have, and I said something to the effect of, you're the best friend I've ever had. And he's like, what are you talking about? You're so friendly. You're so nice. What do you mean I'm the best friend you've ever had? I'm like, no, no. Everybody, every human alive that I knew overnight from one day to the next cut me off. And he's known that for years and years, but it's just mind blowing for them to understand.
Yeah.
Losing one friend, friendships aren't forever. People come and go. We come in
Right.
and out of each other's lives. That's
Right.
that's normal. But to lose your entire community and family
Mhm.
is just unimaginable for most normal humans. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. But yet, Young was bringing out that they're going to struggle with that until they basically turn their backs on it.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And they're not turning their backs out of hatred or lack of interest. They're turning their backs because it's not there anymore.
Right. And they mentioned self-love. We have to
Yeah.
love ourselves. We can't look for love from somebody else. If we do, we're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, what's the arrangement for a good relationship? Um, you could want a relationship with somebody, but it doesn't mean you're going to have that relationship.
Hmm.
The biologic relationships we take for granted.
Right.
We say, they will always be there, and
Right.
I should always be there. But and this is where how insidious the Watchtower has been, is that they know how to break up that biologic reliability
Right.
and leave a person destitute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Joe,
And
you
so,
made a comment. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You made
go
a
ahead.
comment a few minutes ago about loving yourself. I remember being told years ago, which I could not understand at that time, if you can't love yourself, why would you expect someone else to?
Exactly.
And that's a tough one to swallow when you grow up not liking yourself. But
Yep.
I had that, and I've grown into liking myself. And I
Yes.
think one of the healthiest things that ever happened to me was I finally just threw my hands up in the air and said, I just don't care anymore.
Right.
I don't care what other people think of me.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best. I am who I am. I'm going to go through life and do my best. I love to help people. I still do. But I will put the brakes on now.
Yeah.
I have limits.
Yeah.
Good for
And
you.
I think the first time I made that statement was with my father. We did not have a very good relationship. He was not a good father, but I won't get into all that. But circumstances were such that I tried and tried, as we all kids all did, to get his approval. It was never going to happen. So one day, I was 16 years old. I still remember quite well. And I said, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm not even going to try to get your approval because I'm never going to have it. And that was probably the beginning of my gaining my own independence and growing. Was when I did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another twist on this too. I know we're talking about shunning. I could do a twist on this a little bit too. There's also the mini shunning. Because there's a lot of people out there that are not full-blown hardcore shunned. When I got shunned, I was hardcore shunned by everybody instantly overnight. When you do a slow fade, or you're just maybe kind of weak in the truth, or maybe they're not quite as hardcore shunning as what they did 10 or 15 years ago, there's a lot of people out there that kind of find themselves in this gray zone maybe, where they're kind of mini shunned, but not totally shunned. Like maybe somebody might call and say hi, but it's not a full blown, you're dead to us kind of shunning like it is for some.
Yeah.
This mini shunning is also so toxic and so deadly because it leaves you hanging on for crumbs that don't even exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is, you know what? I've often said that maybe in my case, I'm almost grateful for the hardcore shunning.
Yeah.
Because it meant that I didn't have to tiptoe around.
That's
I didn't
right.
have to like hide who I am or
Right.
you know,
Yep.
fake, try to keep in anybody's good graces. I wasn't holding on to some hope. Oh, look, I'm crossing my fingers. That's so not Jehovah Witnessy. But I wasn't like afraid I didn't have any false expectations that maybe there could be maybe a relationship. And when you've got this soft shunning, when you've got this mini shunning going on, it's really hard for you to move on because you're kind of like hoping that they're going to maybe do something. You're afraid to move on because you don't want to leave what you could have, but you don't have. And you're in like this limbo world,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of the people I'd like to talk to for a second here, because you're holding on for scraps that don't exist. You're holding out for a relationship that is conditional to the max. And the reason you're tiptoeing around is because you're afraid. You're afraid for authenticity. You're afraid of having them take away something from you that they're actually not even giving you, ironically enough,
Yeah, but yet you're looking for it.
Yeah, and you're holding on to for dear life. You're crossing your fingers and you're holding on, hoping that something's going to be there, and honestly, it's not.
No.
And in that case, since they're not the ones that's pulling the plug on the relationship, a lot of times those people, I would seriously ask them to reconsider if maybe they should be the ones to pull the plug on those relationships. For your own mental sanity and for your own clarity, maybe it should be time to think about saying, wait a second, maybe I should shun them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're not getting, it is not a healthy relationship. It's a toxic relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the longer you tiptoe around a toxic relationship, the more you're allowing that into your life. Sometimes we just have to say, I'm sorry, this just doesn't work for me. I'm sorry, this is just toxic. There are dozens of books out there about toxic relationships. Sometimes we don't always realize that these toxic people are our family members. And it's not always just Jehovah's Witnesses. Every family has a toxic somebody. Hitler had brothers and sisters. There are toxic people out there.
Yeah.
And sometimes as a family member, any family member, not just ExJW, we do have to analyze these relationships and say, wait a second, is this a healthy relationship for me or not?
Great point, Deanna. Thank you for stating that. Matthew, are you there? Oh, Matthew, you were there.
You were there, Matthew. Kind of keep coming in and out. Try again. We're here.
What Young spoke about, what wasn't mentioned yet, is something called sovereignty. And sovereignty is something where we have the right to rule ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, I say who I get along with and who I do not get along with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm not going to let you dictate whether I'm going to rely on you getting along with me. It's going to be up to me, not up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because the shunned person, they are exercising sovereignty.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
Yeah, and they're also using guilt because you're going to feel guilty. I got to have a relationship with them. They're my parents. They're my mother and father. You know, you feel forced to have a relationship. That's not a good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just say, try to, Matthew, are you on? Can you hear us, Matthew? Is your mic on?
Hi, can you
There
hear
you are.
me?
Yes,
You're
we
right on.
can.
Good to be with you. Not too sure if I'm coming through,
Yes,
but
you're coming
good to be
through.
with you all.
Yep,
We can hear you.
5 by 5.
Yeah, I think it's just maybe a little bit of a technical hiccup, but yes, good to be with you all, and I think it's a great subject that is there. I was picking up something about Jung and this matter of caring but not caring. It's the boundary setting, as from what I could hear, and it was in reference to the last stage in spiritual development where there isn't this absolute dependency at the cost of having to exchange or put up with toxicity that's damaging. I don't know if I've got that right, but it sounds like a positive discussion that I'm hearing.
The person's at a point where there's a huge disconnect in their relationship. They're seeking a relationship which the other person is avoiding. That's a terrible imbalance. You're reaching out to them, but they're drawing their hands away from you. You're not going to get from them, but yet you need from them. That'll make you sick. In fact, we see that it does that. It's doing that with so many of the different friends that we know that are being shunned.
Mm-hmm.
And until they recognize that they need to seek the love of those that are willing to give it to them, and not from people that are unwilling, that's a hurdle that they're going to have to overcome.
And like Mama Sue said, it's not just the one person. She said, my daughter shuns me, which means her elder husband and my granddaughters do too.
Yeah.
So it runs through the whole family.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And that's where Watchtower breaks up families.
See,
what I would like to say to the video, the problem is here. Sorry about my voice, but it's always deep. The problem is here. You saw in the video that at a certain, you see me better. At a certain point, you change your personality, you free yourself. The Phoenix principle, Phoenix out of the ash. And when that destroyed you completely, at some stage you get reborn. That is true. Actually, daytime, my voice is also better. But here in this video, I'm out for more than 30 years, blah, blah, everyone knows. But you have to understand, the moment you leave them and they shun you, it's like a time capsule. You remember the people as they were when you left.
Right.
And you keep this in your heart forever. You keep these memories forever.
Anymore.
But they develop. Like I learned in the last two months, 30 years of new laws within Jehovah's Witnesses. Amazing. I left a completely different religion.
That's
and
right.
In September, my cousin visited me, a former elder. And he had visited me, he left 20 years ago. So for 10 years, we had no contact whatsoever. 8 years ago, he was completely broken in his life, emotionally, financially, everything. And he came to visit me. And it was a wonderful time. He brought an orchid, and we drank a 20-year-old wine that I still had. And we had fantastic talks. It was a dream. Now in September, he came again, another 8 years later. And my husband didn't understand why I always want these old friends to come, whom I don't have contact with. And I said to him, they're the only people that confirm that I ever existed back then.
Yeah.
Because the person I used to be, I'm not anymore. And there is only like 5 people who can confirm that I ever existed. And this time he came, and he didn't bring an orchid, he brought a bottle of cheap whiskey.
Oh.
And he right away wanted to drink it. And I had another 15-year-old bottle. I only had these 2 bottles, that's it. Old wine, because we said back then the next time we drink another old wine. He is not a wine drinker anymore. He's a strong alcoholic, and he only drinks whiskey. And he was completely different. And I was,
Whoops.
Matthew, your mic broke. Echo.
You're coming through somewhere.
Keep trying.
And he was extremely ordinary, and he behaved badly, and he had us pay everything for him. And I came to realize he's probably completely broke. But this person is broken, and he was permanently talking about sex. He even tried to have sex with me verbally.
Wow.
And understood that this man had all his life thought what life he could have had in the world. But nobody ever told him how the world is really like, or the psychology of the world. And I was completely shocked. Why was I so stupid to bring somebody of the past back into my life who doesn't fit into my life anymore? And this is the Paul Young principle. When you leave, you have to accept that these people will never be the same again. And if you were to return now to Jehovah's Witnesses, they had 10, 5, 20 years more indoctrination. And they know that you had 10, 20 years of freedom without Armageddon.
Right.
They envy you for that. And so to reach the stage of the video of Mr. Young, you have to completely change. But at the same time, you can never be part of that family again.
No, it never be the same. Only
it's
what
the phoenix. It's the phoenix. You are now somebody completely else. And perhaps to be a really special person, it's not nice, but perhaps we have to go through extreme religions, extreme abuse, extreme war situations, refugee situations, to understand what is really important.
Well, it's trauma for sure. And that trauma imposes a demand on us. And in most cases, it imposes a demand that we're not prepared to handle at first. And the challenge is, how do I handle this? I need to go forward. I can't go backward. And this is where the person really needs to take charge of their own life, their own health. Whereas previously, their life was in the hands of Watchtower. Their life was in the hands of the people that they sought for their love. It was in their hands. They really didn't do much for their own health, for their own life. Now they've been thrust. In fact, well, why was the person shunned? Why was the person disfellowshipped? Usually it's because of something that they initiate. It's their step. They've taken a step. And at that point, they need to keep learning how to be progressive. Very, very progressive. You know, I came up with a response. We were told in the organization with the Theocratic Ministry School that there was a school that you will never graduate from.
Yeah.
And my attitude is, I'm leaving, I'm graduating. And now the next step is to formulate my education with the help of everything out there that can help.
You know, because I was hardcore shunned, like I said, I wasn't tiptoeing around. It gave me a real clean slate to just create who I am and become a totally new person, go off on my own business, create my own life. Somebody asked me once, what would I do? Wouldn't I like to have my family back if they banned shunning and then all of a sudden my family was back? And when I thought about it, I actually thought, the truth is no. Because the truth is, those people, they never really knew me anyway. I had to edit my words. We all did. We all had to put on this new personality. We didn't even know ourselves.
Yeah.
And so when you embrace authenticity, that is a miracle. That is a wonderful place to be. And, realizing that was actually kind of freeing for me too. Realizing that actually those people will never fit into my life. They will never understand who I am. They won't like it, regardless of the religion.
Well, that works even in the world with families with children who go back to their family and meet and visit with them. Well, what's the expectation? The expectation is that they're supposed to be the child that grew up in that family. The one that family expects. Well, usually the child says, I've grown, I'm maturing, I'm not who they think I am anymore. And usually it doesn't work well if there's not an openness. And that in the world, there's that failure as well. The failure for families to accept growth.
Yeah.
I could just interject here. Really appreciating the comments, both online as well as in the chat. And if anyone wants to join us, the chat is at the top. The link is at the top of the chat. Mama Sue liked what you said about graduating.
Yeah.
Because we know better.
It means we go through life having to graduate. People go to school, and in school, they don't want to go through school without graduating.
Right.
It's not a good sign. So there's a need to graduate. And here, this society put us in that position of saying, you will never graduate. And at that point, I knew that's trouble. That was trouble.
Yeah, we have one of our friends texting us. Hi, Gail.
Hi, good evening.
They said, yes, Deanna, very true. We were actors, not authentic.
Oh my goodness.
This is a powerful episode and so authentic and open. Thank you. We need to hear this. I want to join, but I'm still shy. When you're ready, we're here. We don't bite.
There's no hiding anymore. You don't need to hide. You can say anything you want.
Hello, Gail.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Gail.
Do you want me to say something?
Yeah, please. Of course we do. That's what we've been waiting for.
Oh, no, not again. Go ahead.
Shunning just didn't happen in a religious group. For most of us, we get our first dose of shunning or taste of shunning in grammar school.
Yeah.
Too fat, too ugly,
Oh, boy.
too poor, too smart, too nerdy.
It's true.
And, a lot of kids form groups. And if you don't fit into that group, shunning to me is also a silent way of bullying.
Oh, yeah.
And it's also, to me, one of the worst forms of rejection that you can have. But I'm going to tell you a story. It's a true story of what happens when you shun a loved family member. Now, I think I've told you about her before. Her name's Mary Ellen. She lives in Florida. I went down there 2 summers ago to take care of her. She's a witness. Now, she shunned her son 40 years ago for smoke. He got disfellowship for smoking a stupid cigarette. And the eldest daughter was with him. She was smoking pot. but he got mad and was very vocal against the elders. But they disfellowshipped him because of his attitude, and the girl that her father was the elder on the judicial committee. Well, anyway, Mary Ellen has Alzheimer's, and she's in a beautiful house. It's like a movie star house. She's all alone, and her son Philip wants nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
So what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
Because she rejected her son. He wasn't even in her will. He went to honor his father's death 2 years ago. That's why I went down there to help Mary Ellen out. Well, in the will, it says we recognize Phil as our son, but we're not leaving him any money. We're leaving $10,000 to the Kingdom Hall.
Wow.
So I really got upset with Mary Ellen, and I said, how could you go for 40 years without talking to your son? How could you do? He couldn't even go to his own sister's wedding. So now she needs her son, and she's got a very beautiful home with beautiful things inside it, but she's all alone, and no one wants to help her because she's a very mean person as well. I guess the witnesses try to help her, and she starts threatening them. She's telling them they're stealing stuff. So she's got 2 children. Her daughter doesn't want to come down and help, and neither does her son. So I don't know what's going to happen to Mary Ellen, but I keep in touch with this beautiful, lovely woman across the street she won't take care of Mary Ellen either because Mary Ellen turned on her. So we were talking and said, I said, what the heck is going to happen to Mary Ellen? She goes, Gail, this is what she gets for being mean and cruel and for doing this to her son.
Yeah.
So
comes around.
Yeah, what goes around comes. I was going to call up Phil and say, please go down and help your mother. And I said, you know what? No, I'm not gonna.
No.
I'm not gonna bother.
Why should you get involved?
No.
And, why should he?
I'd want to see a change in the will.
This
Yeah,
is
can you
actually
imagine that? The poor kid, he comes down to honor his father's death, and he saw the will on the table. We honor my son, but he's not getting anything. The Kingdom Hall.
I'd want to see a very favorable change in the will.
that was the situation of
I
my
kind of
father.
would like to add a different twist. I'd like to put a different twist on that too.
Go ahead.
From the psychology standpoint, what Jehovah's Witnesses are requiring their members to do is also emotional abusive to them. To tell a parent that they need to cut off their child is also emotional abuse.
Oh, you bet
So
it is.
we talk about how hard it is to be shunned.
Oh, no,
But
the
the truth
shunning
is that the people who are doing the shunning,
You're
they are
right.
suffering quite a lot of psychological
yeah.
damage
There's
also.
no question.
I'm sure they are.
They're being they're having to harden their heart. They're having to cut themselves off. You know what? It probably does make them mean and hateful. Maybe
Yep.
they're
It
not
does.
a mean and hateful person.
No.
But if you're going to not talk to your child, it does something sick to you.
Yeah.
And they use God, they use your everlasting life to manipulate you. Obviously they're telling these people because, we were all there too. I was told that it's the loving arrangement, right?
Right.
But looking at them, not understanding why they do that or looking at them as bad people, I don't think is necessarily the healthiest way to look at it. The truth is they're in a cult.
Yeah.
And they're being extremely manipulated and damaged. Now they're participating. Everybody has free will. They could choose not to. But we all know that choosing to not excommunicate somebody means you're going to get excommunicated. So it's so easy for them to just go along with it, even though it's breaking their heart, even though it's severing the most tender relationships of a parent-child that exists. It's just damage on all levels. So, understand they're under tons of duress.
It's like the military. They're grooming people to be abusers. And the way you get somebody to be an abuser is you abuse them. And the ones that stick around for the abuse become the abusers. Well, there's so many that have left. They're among us now. The exes, they don't want to do that. They say, no way. I'm not fitting into that pattern of abuse. I will not do it. The ones that stay, they are. They're going to go on to greater abuses. And I don't know what it's going to be, but we're going to see them pulling off greater abuses among each other. And it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, Matthew said elders get family money. Clever, really clever.
Yeah.
Yep, they know how to do it.
Well, they do. They pay Mary Ellen a visit all the time about, they're asking what she's going to do with her house. But you know what? I just want to say, Mary Ellen doesn't care. Mary Ellen's an alcoholic.
Oh.
She used to reek of booze when she lived up here in Massachusetts. She moved to Florida. She used to reek of alcohol. I really don't think she cares.
No,
I
she probably
really
does.
don't think she cares.
Well, you know what? Honestly, in order to sever your heart and shun somebody, there's a lot of people who turn to alcoholism because
No,
there's
she
something
drank before
inside
he
of
get
them.
this fellowship.
Well,
She
I'm not
abused her
specifically
husband.
speaking about her. I'm not specifically
Oh.
speaking about her. I do personally know people that turn to alcohol because that is not what their heart wanted to do. They did
Oh.
it to be loyal to the religion. And
I
the
agree
only
with you
way
on
they
that
dealt
one.
with that abuse, to deal with that stress was they turned to alcohol for it.
I agree with that one. Yeah, it's a sad situation because she's in her 80s and she's an absolutely stunning looking woman, but that doesn't mean anything. And her own daughter won't come down, and her daughter is, she's a kind of a PMO, but she won't come down either. So what does that tell you about their mother? They loved their father, and he passed away, and he talked to his son, but behind Mary Ellen's back.
That's good. Matthew, were you going to say something? Go ahead. Sorry.
So, Deanna, you have a license for your practice. Is that correct?
There you go.
I think Matthew said, Deanna, you have a license for your practice.
What I do isn't regulated by licensing. This is spiritual healing. This is in the category of life coaching. It's psychology, and I'm in Ecuador too, so licensing isn't quite the same.
Anything goes in Ecuador.
Right, exactly.
Well, some of the greatest healers I've come across, they don't have a license. They're right here in Africa. They don't necessarily fit into the normal kind of thing. They're born under a tree, and the first thing they touch is the red soil underneath them, and they've got the natural instinct, the intuition. And I think I hear from you intuition. But I was going to just contribute to anybody. Gail, you've had a lot of experience with healing and nursing and the practical side. When I was at the branch, I noticed a huge consumption from the pharmacy, because the branch has got its own pharmacy. Not just contraceptives,
Nice.
the medicated contraceptives, but antidepressants. It was huge, massive.
Did you say antidepressants?
Yes, antidepressants at the branch. Now, Deanna, you were talking about alcohol as a coping thing. So it's a social interface. You expect it to do that, and you've got your brethren, so to speak, that have their own breweries at the branch all over the place. You just go, what is this? But it's the culture. It's the culture from back in the day, from the Rutherford Prohibition days. And it's sort of now become traditional. But yeah, I was noticing accident increases. And when there's accident increases and you're a township, which is what the branch is, with 2,000 personnel at the time, I think it's been greatly reduced now, but there was about 2,000 personnel at the time. You have so many safety officers per capita, and you're expected to put in accident reports. If you don't, then you get external inspectors coming in. And so I had done the report thoroughly, and I went to the chairman and I said, I have to present this to you, but I can see that the accident reports are related towards the medication.
That's true.
And he said to me, no, the branch isn't medicated. There's nobody depressed here. I think I've told this story before.
Wow.
He says, there's nobody with that. I said, no, absolutely this is happening. I said, every time in the various congregations that I've been assigned to be prior to coming here as a special pioneer, I said, you'd been letting people go on the grounds of depression, clinical depression. And he just goes quiet. Yeah, I said, I can name a few people. There's this one. He says, oh, no, we know about those cases. So as soon as that happened, I realized, you know what? It takes me a while to realize what this is. This is called spiritual warfare. But it's spiritual warfare with your own brethren, with the ones that have assignments within the organization. This isn't an apostate you're dealing with. You're hindering my own work. You're hindering the work that you've assigned me. Because this is a taboo area. This is a taboo subject. This is not to be spoken about. Because Jehovah's Witnesses are the happiest people on the planet.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah.
The Boston Sunday Globe, about 30 years ago, on the Sunday edition, they did an editorial about Jehovah's Witnesses and the high percentage of mental illness among them. It was a fascinating article. And I kind of agreed with the whole article because, you know, I've seen a lot of it myself. There's a lot of alcohol going on in the Kingdom Halls, too. You know, and you know, if they were happy people,
100%.
If they were happy people, they wouldn't be self-medicating.
Yep. I've been doing this work, life coaching. I've been doing this for 20 years. I started with Mormons. Long before I left Jehovah's Witnesses, I've been doing this. I've worked with every demographic you can imagine. It's only been about the last 3 years that I've been working with the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and there's there's some very specific differences between any other demographic. First of all, they have guilt off the chart, way higher than any other demographic I've ever worked with. And depression and alcoholism the percentages are easily 10 times what any other demographic I've ever worked with is. It's because they're oppressing our authenticity. There's lots of different reasons, psychological, emotional reasons, but a lot of it is, I do believe that we have our intuition. We all have this little voice in the back of our head that goes, what the heck? Something's not right here. And we shut it up because it's our treacherous heart and, you know, it's our sinful inclination. But everybody's intuition has got to be pinging them. You can see it in pictures. You know, I look at old JW pictures of Pioneer School and conventions, and everybody's like, but it's dead. It doesn't reach their eyes. It's fake. It doesn't reach their eyes. And the only way that you can live like that is to either self-medicate or just get depressed.
Yes. Want to say hi to Dallas? Hello, Dallas.
Hi, Dallas.
Well, hello, y'all. Well, I love what y'all saying, Deanna, about the depression rates, the drunken rates. I do agree with you on so much there.
And don't forget miserable marriages. There's a lot of miserable marriages, and they can't get out of the marriage because, oh, heavens forbid if you get divorced in the Kingdom Hall.
Absolutely.
Joe and Fran, I want to pose a question if it's not going to put anybody on the spot. Can I go ahead?
Go ahead.
The branch has just had a significant death, very significant death. And I don't know why, but it's this liminal space that I'm in, but I've been invited to this funeral. Now, I started a long time ago not going to these things. I stopped going there because I just found it toxic. And if I attend these things and persons ask me questions, I'm going to answer straight.
Me too.
That's what happens. I'm just going to go, no, you falsified information. This is the problem. And I'm just going to blurt it out in public because I don't have that barrier anymore. So to not create these socially awkward things, I think we're talking about shunning. It's a sort of a reversal where I'm included, but it's the same thing that you're bringing up. You're having to put the firewall up, because as soon as you say something, it's taboo, it's wrong, it's going to cause shock. So I've actually had to shun myself.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's almost you're almost being baited.
Yeah. So it's it's just because it's so toxic, because it's just got so far and out of hand. That's what's happened.
Yeah.
But it's a significant death, and it's a sad thing, and you want to still dignify a person. But when this came up, and it's a key signatory, absolute key, it's very significant death, this one. But I feel nothing. I don't feel immense sadness. I don't feel immense grief. I'm actually very numb to this, because the last time I interacted with this person, it was dishonest from them. It was dishonest. It was toxic. Very bad behavior from them. I can cerebrally say it's a tragedy. I can say that person, if they really believed that their spiritual warfare was legitimate, the amount of dissonance is tragic. I can work through that, and I can say I pity that individual, but I can't go there and start weeping over this or anything like that. I just feel very numb to the situation. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if people like that.
Well, I suppose in steps and stages, you come to the point where you realize, I don't belong there.
Yeah.
And in other words, and I think that, I mean, I would go through that too. And that point doesn't immediately show itself, but over time, it becomes crystal clear that I do not belong there. And I think that's a whole process of becoming and developing, and especially as we see other people going through changes. Because no doubt, Matthew, the people that are there are going through changes as well.
You know, it's interesting. I was going to Walmart, and a couple of days in a row, we saw witnesses, like 3 days in a row, and most of them said hello. Now they were from, they were either from different congregations or they didn't know our situation. But this one was walking towards me, and there was no way he could avoid me. And so I said, "Hello, so and so," and he said, "Hi." And then I said, "Congratulations," because he recently got remarried. His wife passed away a couple years ago. And he said to me, "Life goes on," actually carrying on a conversation while we're walking past each other in Walmart. I was shocked. And then another one was from a different congregation, and I don't think he knew that we disassociated. So we just talked to him just like it was normal before. We're not going to shun them. But he was with another woman. Same thing. His wife had passed away, and he was with this other woman. And we had our ExJW buttons on and everything, And I think she kind of she saw the buttons, and she was kind of like tugging at him and pulling on his arm.
We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here.
And he was oblivious to the whole thing. So, you just never know. You never know. But we make sure our pins are on.
There's going to be changes which I think are going to be surprising. And I want to be there and see them.
I've got some really interesting letters during the week. And it looks like, it's small world. Somebody actually said, "Oh, did you know so-and-so at the branch? And by the way, they my uncle, and they my relative," and it starts pouring out, you see. So I look at this, and what you're talking about there, Joe, is you're talking about, you have to be authentic in order for those connections to occur. And persons are trapped, and then they want to reach out. And so I look at a letter like that. I go, well, that's tremendous courage. There's somebody who's endeavoring to reach out and just make a connection. And I look at that and I go, well, what's that worth? I think, in my opinion, I go, that's worth tremendous amount, because, yeah, it's on the up and up. It's on the level without having to falsify anything. And I go, I think those are the persons we want to reach out for. And then that's not the Jong thing. That's not the saying I don't care. I do care. I care very much when I receive that kind of contact.
Yeah. See, I look for that, Matthew, because just as we made those changes, and there are people presently making changes, well, there's ones inside that are approaching those changes as well. So to me, there's positive things taking place. It's in our favor. I don't know how to say it in any other way. The change is in our favor.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in the favor of the witnesses. They're falling apart.
Yeah.
Their whole theme and their reason for being is just crumbling, and the people in it are lost because they can't rely on what they used to rely on anymore.
No, they can't.
So we're sensitive to what's happening. The people that are inside, they are making changes.
And there may be ones listening right now that are still PME, and we welcome them, and we're glad you joined us, because this is a topic that affects everyone, whether you have been shunned, whether you are shunning, or you are planning on being shunned. And with that said, want to say hello to Apasta Babe.
Hi, Linda.
I think you're muted, Linda.
Hello, Linda.
Just unmute yourself. Let's see. Oops, what happened? Where'd she go?
I don't know.
Try again, Linda.
We're here.
Anyway.
Joe and Fran, there was just one more thing I want. Oh, there's Linda James.
Okay, there she is. Hi, Linda.
Here I am. I got lost, but now I'm found.
Oh, you're found.
Here I am.
Hi there, Linda.
Hey, how are you, Dell?
I feel like singing.
It's nice.
Right? So, this is a really good conversation that is happening tonight. And I need to... What I'm hearing so far about shunning sounds a bit different than what I've come to know shunning to be in my own personal studies, and people that describe narcissists or narcissism. They, when somebody is toxic in someone's life, they go no contact.
Oh, right.
Which is
Yeah.
removing themselves from a toxic situation.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Sounds like what that video talked about.
That's healthy.
But
Yeah.
shunning is straight up punishment. You behave badly, I'm going to give you the cold shoulder. I'm going to give you the silent treatment. And within the churches, you're treated as though you do not exist and don't deserve to exist. So it's very different from like the whole congregation can be informed to shun you. For instance, if you were in a bowling team and you got kicked out for breaking the rules, okay, you got kicked out for breaking the rules, but the bowling team person expecting everybody else on the bowling team to shun you and never speak to you again is unheard of. That's a different realm, you know.
Yeah, this manipulation tactic is not something that happens in any other category of life. Friends may come and go. Maybe you have a bully that you're dealing with, or there's a toxic relationship here and there, but it's rarely that an entire community throws stones and completely condemns and shuns somebody. I mean, that's a death sentence for our neurology, as I like I was saying before, our sense of safety and security is with our clan. It's with our people. It's with our group. We are clan creatures. We
Yes.
need our people. And there's
We
nothing
do.
more devastating psychologically than being shunned by your entire community.
Oh yeah.
And Deanna, the point you made earlier about the damage that's done to those who are put in the position of having to shun. I hadn't thought of it quite that way, even though I know that exists. But that is very true. That it is in so many ways damaging those who are doing the shunning as well as the people who are being shunned.
Well, I saw that happen myself because all my family are Jehovah's Witnesses. I was disfellowshipped when I was 20, 21, and I got reinstated. I had a very, like I said, a very loving relationship. And when I got reinstated, that relationship never really went back to the same. I mean, we're still having family barbecues and stuff like that, but there was a piece that wasn't quite the same. And it wasn't until years later when I started studying human behavior and stuff like that when I realized, oh, wait a second. Because at the time I was like, okay, well, now I have an unbelieving husband and, I'm reinstated. So my reputation, and that's the reason why it's not the same relationship. But I see that completely differently now. What happened was my family severed that emotional tie in order to shun me, as they were told to do. And they're not taught how to reestablish it. It's not a light switch that you just go off, on, off, on.
Yeah.
So even though I'm reinstated and they're hugging me and I'm back in, emotionally and psychologically, there's no way to flip that switch and just make it go back to the way it was before. I could see it in their eyes. My uncle was one of the most beloved people in my life. And I could see that there was a psychological, emotional break. Even when I came back, even though he's thrilled to come back, it wasn't the same. And it's because there's psychological damage on the part of the people doing the shunning too.
I early on, I mentioned to my children, our children, that if any of us wanted to restore relationships, everyone would have to be very good forgivers. And honestly, I don't think that's something that they really are prepared to do.
Right.
They're prepared for other things. They're not prepared for that.
We'd like to say hello to Texas Chica 361. If you unmute yourself.
Hi there, everybody. Just checking in.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to see Deanne there.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm mostly going to be listening because I got somebody trying to sleep next to me.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Welcome.
I wanted to add the love part of this, because if there's such a loving organization, Jesus said to love unconditionally. There's a price tag on their love, and there's a condition on their love. My father was the same way.
No, it's not love.
No, that's not love.
It's not love.
It's not love. No, not when they put a price tag on love.
No.
And we need to make room and time to love those unconditionally who love us back. And I'm a firm believer in that. And I think we get that here, which is good. And thanks to Deanna.
Well, I agree with you right there.
Thank you for saying that, Gail and Dallas. And we do too,
And
This,
Deanna, I would like to comment on how that shun is like being stoned to death symbolically. That happens literally in places like the Middle East, such as it's not far from being an honor killing. One of them happened to me in my area of Texas where I formerly lived. With Amina and Sarah Saeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think sometimes I feel like, but I can't guarantee that in that organization they do the same thing too.
If they could, they would. They even said that. If we could stone the person, we would.
Yeah.
Or kill their own children in the name of honor with a gun, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so psychologically damaging for every single person involved. And, you know, they train you to shun. They give you all of these scriptures, and, you know, you've got all these drama videos that are teaching you how to cut people off and everything. And what I think is the saddest to me is they don't teach unconditional love. So when somebody comes back, you know, they have the drama, or, you know, their little JW videos where it's like, welcome back. And it's so fake because they don't know how to teach you how to reconnect emotionally. They're toxic. It's just a toxic relationship.
And on top of that, I understand there's an upcoming Watchtower lesson about promoting hate.
Yep.
And I haven't looked at it because I can't stand to, but I've heard it being discussed. So add that to all the things we're just talking about. And how do you come back from that if you've been conditioned to actually hate? Doesn't make any, none of this makes any sense, of course.
That's going to be their.
I believe
it's going to be their March Watchtower. It's going to be their March 2026 Watchtower, and the name of it is "Why Can We Be Happy When We're Hated?" It's June 1st to the 7th. And you know what, Dina? You're right. I got to fellowship, and you know what an elder said to me? He grabbed me in the parking lot. And he goes, "Don't expect everybody to be accepting you back with open arms." Now, this is an elder telling me that after I got
I've heard that said too. I've heard people say that too. It'll take time. It'll take time. Yeah, because you psychologically bullied everybody into severing their own emotional feelings, and you're not teaching them how to reconstruct that. I remember hearing that too. How that is so sad. Anyway, for those people who are out there who are in this shunned position, we love you. We understand.
It kind of broke my spirit that day.
Oh, we got to meet you, Gail.
Huh?
I said the bonus is we got to meet you.
No,
that's right. We all got to meet each other. Deanna, if you could do this in like less than 5 minutes, like 3 minutes.
Someone for the challenge. It's like the ministry school. I got this.
Okay, someone asked, how did you get involved in your program?
So funny enough.
No,
husband
excuse
number
me.
3.
Wait. Ask Deanna how to get involved in her program. Okay, I read it wrong. How do they get involved in your program if they want to reach out to you?
Email me.
Email.
Look, I did it in like 6 seconds.
Oh.
Are you proud of
can
me?
Thank you. Can you put it in the chat, please?
I tried and it won't let me.
Okay. I'll try to do it.
I tried to put it in the chat. And
all right. I'll just give it to you.
I do have it under my name, but it's like super teeny.
Okay. Yeah, it is super teeny. Okay.
HealingSoulsNLP@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Say it again, please, Deanna, and I'll type it in.
Oh, cool. HealingSoulsNLP@gmail.com.
Thank you.
All right, we've now put you onto the live chat.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I don't know
Matthew.
why I'm shunned from the live chat. Can I be reinstated to the live chat, please?
No, you gotta go in front of the committee.
Yeah, it'll take time.
You have to show enough humility.
Wait, Joe, please. I'm going to turn in a letter.
You need to go in front of the committee.
So NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. Am I correct?
Right.
Okay.
Just as you just happened to mention letters to the elders, and Shauna's coming up. We're having a new page where if anyone wanted to send in their letter that they wrote to the elders to give people an idea what they might want to say. Some people want to say something short and sweet, to disassociate, and some want to, give the whole explanation. But we're going to have a page dedicated to letters to the elders. So if you're interested.
And one of the themes of the letter.
Long one to every elder and the police. They were all put together with the witnesses, and that was my letter.
Good. Good.
Well, see, it can be something as a friendly letter to the elders, to reach out to them as to,
Wait, you're doing shepherding call letters to the elders?
well, reaching out as if they were human beings,
Right.
because the idea is that there's a human being trapped inside that role.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Joe, you're quite right, and that was my dark humor, and I apologize for that. And sometimes it gets out of hand.
No, they're all valid. They're all valid.
To support you on that, I wrote to everybody individually, and I said, by the way, you've been misled. If you feel that this thing has not been handled correctly, you've been misled, and here's the information. Here's everything that's completely traceable. Now you know who's involved.
Do I have time for a quick story?
Yeah, go ahead.
So when I was disfellowshipped and reinstated, I turned my letter in, and the presiding overseer at the time takes the letter and he rips it up and he throws it in the trash. And I'm like, what? And he's like, ask your dad. Basically, in a nutshell, what had happened was my dad and my uncles, who were elders, didn't feel like he qualified to be an elder because his daughter was a rumor that she'd had an abortion. And anyway, they were trying to get him to get stepped down. And so he basically said, well, she doesn't get reinstated until you guys step down. And so it was this huge power play that was going on behind the scenes. And I'm just like this pawn, right? So eventually my dad stepped down, my uncle stepped down as being an elder. And this brother calls me and he says, okay, you're reinstated now. And I go, wait, don't you need to meet with me? And he's like, nope, we're going to announce it at the meeting. And I'm like, okay. I spent a lot of years very resentful over that abuse of power, over feeling like my spirituality wasn't an issue. It was all this huge game that they were playing,
Yeah.
And talking about elders being human beings, that anger and resentment was not healthy for me. So as I had to reframe that memory because it wasn't healthy to hold it like that. And I started thinking about that particular elder as a human being. Yeah. And I started thinking what it might have been like to be a dad, knowing that your child might have had an abortion. His wife was an alcoholic. And you know what? That man was in a cult. And he has to play by cult rules. Mm-hmm. If you're playing checkers, you play by checkers rules. You don't play by chess rules. And the truth is that man played the power game because that's what the cult allowed him to play. It never was about me. And when I started viewing him as just a human being that was trapped in a terrible, vicious circle too, it started softening the anger and the resentment that I had a lot. Because I know a lot of us that have gone through the disfellowshipping and reinstating, there's legitimate rage there. I'm not saying that it's not legit. I'm saying, is it necessarily healthy to hang on to that? They say that forgiving is not for the other person, it is for us. And I really, truly do believe that the anger and the resentment that sometimes we have, while it's legit, it's still like drinking poison and hoping that they get sick. And that's just not going to happen. Viewing them as human beings, whether it be the committee that disfellowshipped us or the family members that are shunning us, if we can see the humanity in them, if we can see how the cult is damaging them just as much as us, it allows our heart to open just a little bit so that we can find ourselves in a space of a healing space, which is always going to help.
Yeah. Good points.
Matthew, can you put the link to the to get on the program, please? I think Claudia wanted to get back on.
Thank you, Deanna.
Okay, I'll just do that. I see that there's a bit of a blockage, but there's a way around it. I'll do it now. Just give me a minute.
I just wanted to mention something. So Matthew was talking earlier about a certain time that there were some people making some mistakes on the job, and he saw that as due to their medication that they were taking, antidepressants. Mm-hmm. So And I'm not doubting that situation or anything, but I am someone on antidepressants, so I'm bringing it up so that
There's something that's in the way.
it can be helpful. And the way that, and I know other people have other ways of dealing with clinical depression and things, but this has been successful for me. And the way an antidepressant works is it helps to balance your serotonin level in your brain so that you have a better sense of well-being. And when that becomes unbalanced, you experience high anxiety, you experience panic attacks. So I would probably be making many mistakes on the job if I'm having high anxiety and panic attacks. So it's really helped me to, function better, to think clearer, and to have a better sense of well-being. I still do struggle from depression, but I can also notice when it's clinically depression coming up for me, or circumstantial depression, like things happening outside of me that affect me, and which can happen too. So I just wanted to say that I didn't go into it lightly. I didn't start it in childhood. I read all up about it because I was truly scared to death to take any medication. I was afraid I'd be hooked on drugs, but I did a lot. I did as much research as I could, and I didn't start taking my medications until I was about 30. So, those that are on it, I'm all for being med compliant. And if it's not giving you that sense of a better well-being, you talk to your doctor, let them know, because sometimes the wrong medication can affect you very negatively. It can make you suicidal. It can make you aggressive, and that's not the goal. So when someone takes medication for diabetes, they're not taking a sugar pill. They're taking a pill to balance their sugar level. And many people think that's a very smart thing to do, and so taking medication to balance your serotonin level might be a smart thing to do as well. So that's what I wanted to say about that.
You see, Linda James, you're transparent and you're honest. And that's what was denied. And when it's denied, in those environments, unfortunately, you have persons that are working equipment like an aeroplane. If you think about somebody using a forklift, you have to be licensed with that. And so some of these persons were developing these things, and your chairman is saying, no, they don't have these problems. And when that occurs and it's denied, then the persons are not getting the help. You see, you're a natural born healer, Linda James, because you know how important it is to have transparency and truth and accountability. And that was what was being denied, and it was increasing these accidents. And I don't want to be graphic about it, but some of them were terrible.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. And thank you, Matthew. And I recall having to never be my authentic self, and it was a miserable life. So, what you just said confirms this healing journey that I'm on. So thank you. And I tend to think that we'll be on this healing journey for the rest of our lives. Some people think they're healed. That's fine too,
It's ongoing.
But when I hear somebody give me feedback like that, it's very encouraging. Thank you, Matthew.
I used to experience panic attacks because I felt I never measured up. I haven't had a panic attack since I left, but I was on Klonopin and sometimes Xanax for a long time because of my panic attacks. And I don't know what I don't know. I think it was because I felt I never measured up. I tried to, but I couldn't. And so I used to get a lot of anxiety inside me as a result. But I don't have them anymore.
I'm glad to hear that.
Thanks.
And there's so much more too. When you have to be a different personality to be accepted by God, there's no come as you are. Come as somebody fake. You have to come as somebody fake to be approved of by God. That's a mind fuck. I'm sorry, it just is. It's so mind-boggling and so disorientating. But there's other things too that contribute to clinical depression, like trauma and other things too. Yeah. So I'm just saying that if it's working for you and you are med compliant, good for you. And if not, do what you got to do to find another route.
sad how they kill your spirit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's, oh, gee, I want to go do this. I have a self-interest. I think I'm going to go do that. No, you really should wait until the new system. Then you'll have plenty of time to do that.
Oh yeah, they threw that in our face all the time. Wait on Jehovah was the best one.
Right?
We want to welcome Dylan.
Hello, Dylan.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? It's good to see everybody. Everybody's been saying some really good stuff. Can y'all hear me? Or all right, cool. What's going on?
Yes.
Y'all?
Yes. Well, perfect.
No, I just want to say I love you.
He left.
I love y'all. Love everybody's energy tonight. Love everybody.
Oh, you
sharing
too.
and all that.
Thanks.
Just wanted to say. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to share some good news real quick, if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
I just got accepted into. I'm gonna be a certified recovery specialist. I got accepted into a program and be working with some people that are, going to be going through addiction and everything. So it's a blessing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well,
I have just hearing everybody share too. I'd found something online. It's on this website called Medium, and it's the main thing of it. It has to do with the topic tonight. It's, should I tell people that I'm doubting my religion? Should I tell people that I'll put the link in the chat. I would share that with anyone who is PMO, anyone who's physically and mentally out, because I know, especially for me, I was 16 years old, I was working for someone who was a Jehovah's Witness. I was financially dependent on someone who was a Jehovah's Witness. And that shunning was not just psychological for me in that moment. It was financially, it was all around. So I put the link in the chat, hopefully. Oh, I put it in the private chat. I'll put it into the live chat. Anyone who is thinking about leaving, just different things that you can think about to think about maybe for future reference to, is it time to leave? I don't know. I'll put it in the YouTube.
Forward to your dissertation, Dylan, because I think you're heading in that direction.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Really, I'm dedicating myself to this, so really.
We really appreciate what you're doing, Dylan. Dylan just contacted us just a few weeks ago, and you've done so much with the ExJW community so far. And we'll repeat it again tomorrow night. You're going to be doing a Zoom meetup, if you want to call it that. You're going to be doing it every Thursday. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
I wrote a little bit of it down. The main thing that I'd like to offer, just a space to offer hope, healing, and support for anyone affected by the witnesses. That is, if you're thinking about leaving, if you've already left and you've been affected by it, it really is just a space to support each other, to share with each other anything that's going on during your day-to-day. I figure it's not the worst thing to have more support. It's not the worst thing to have more time to talk with each other. It can, even if we just sit in silence and just look at each other goofy for a little bit, it'll lead to somebody saying something. So
that always helps.
Yeah. I'm glad to see you doing better, Mr. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm glad to see you doing better, Mr. Joe. That flu is no joke. I got hit with it a few weeks ago, about a month ago. It was not fun. Really
It's
not
a
fun.
hammer. It's a hammer. Thank you.
Yeah, everyone's looking for your link, Dylan. What's the best way? Is that your email?
It's my email. If anyone's on the Discord, I believe I can put it in there. I'll put it in the general chat on the Discord as well.
You can put it here. There's a lot of people that are not on Discord that are on this program.
Definitely.
So it's your email, isn't it?
It is. It's my first name and my last name. For some reason, it's not allowing me to type in the chat. Again, I guess I might have the same thing. Yeah, right. We're both shunned. I don't know what's going on.
What's going on? I'll see what.
May I have your permission, please, just to post your Medium excommunications to the public live chat? Can I do that?
Please.
And then if there's any other information, you can give it to me and I'll just post it to the live chat. It seems to be working for me. So you just transfer it to me, put it in your private chat, and I'll just transfer it. Does that sound good? Okay, there we go. I see it now.
Thank you. Yes. So I was going to say something else too. There is something that I have been working with lately as well. It's called Recovering from Religion. Now, I'm not really for anyone to be converted, deconverted. You know, that I'm here to offer support after you make your own decision and use your critical thinking. That is another resource that I've been working with lately and partnering with. Been a tremendous help for anyone who needs it in this moment. You know, I'm not plugging anything. I'm not getting paid for anything at all. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Dylan, you are on our website, ExJWFriends, and you're on the Friends page along with Deanna and Claudia. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you, you can go through there. Also, Dylan's, your email is, why don't you just give it to us, Dylan? That way people can write it down.
it's going to be dylanderish@gmail.com. I can try to, I'm going to put it as my display name.
There it is. Okay. Shauna,
Okay.
just put it.
Thank you guys. I'm sorry. I don't know why my chat's not working right.
I don't know. I told Shauna you and Deanna were having trouble writing in the, not sure what happened.
Hey, that's really good though, because I don't know if you guys all know, but Fran pretty much runs the stage now during the show, so I'm left with nothing to do. So thank you, Dylan, for reading that.
So in other words, it's my fault. Did I do something wrong, Shauna?
No, not at all. You've been doing awesome.
Well, I don't know why they can't type in the chat. Both Deanna and Dylan were having trouble.
I'm not too sure why. Matthew, you can chat in the StreamYard chats, right? Yeah, so our StreamYard is set up to allow our guests to chat right on StreamYard, or that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, it's allowing me to type through the private chat, but I mean, it's not a big deal. Yeah.
I've been trying to go straight to YouTube and log into YouTube and do it, and it still shunned me.
Oh,
are you guys
We're getting shunned everywhere.
Okay, one sec here. For the comments, are you typing the comments in through the box at the top where it says comments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring that up.
On the YouTube, yeah. I've been typing on there. It shows like a little red error message. That's all.
Yeah, it totally blocks me. Yeah, it's like a red message.
Okay, well, we'll look into that. I have no idea why it's doing that. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything on my end.
Nope.
There seems to be a bit of a disconnect, but I'm looking at the one Joe and Fran Guarino is transmitting it, but I see that when we use the StreamYard, there seems to be some sort of disconnect. So it just be transferring back and forth, and it seems to be coming through.
Yeah, I don't know. I cannot explain YouTube for anybody that wonders where their comments go or anything. Like, I don't know, and I don't understand StreamYard either. So there you go.
Well, I just wanted to come on and tell everyone that it's just been a pleasure listening to you guys. I've been sitting back there just playing, like fidgeting around and listening to you guys. I'm sure everyone else is having a great time tonight. But thank you for having a space open for everybody.
Hey,
Thanks
congratulations, Dylan. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gail. Really, thank everybody.
Keep up the good work.
I was gonna say bless y'all. I guess that's well, you can't even say that in Jehovah Witnesses, so I guess that I guess I'm exercising.
Now.
All the time.
All the blessings I can get.
Yeah.
You can use holy water if you want.
I want to read what Wildwall said. He said, your comments are there, but they're kind of like Jesus' presents. In 1914, they're invisible. Leave it to Wildwall.
Yeah. That's a great place to wrap up tonight's show, I'd say. Let Joe get some more rest in there so you can continue on the mend. It's great to have you back. I know we said that. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody, for joining
Have
us
a great
tonight to watch the
evening.
show.
You too, Dana.
Take care now,
Good night, everyone.
Much love.
And we'll see you tomorrow night on Dylan's
That's right.
Zoom. Go to
Now, is
Dylan's.
that live? Is that going to be live or?
I'm not posting that. The only reason why I made it to where people can't email or have to email me is because I had some people join last time, like just trolling and
Okay.
So that's the only reason why I'm keeping it a little bit more like putting a barrier in between. But it won't be live. It's going to be more or less just wanting to just keep it sort of just for anyone who's there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and you could say whatever. So, and
Do
you
you
can
know
be.
what kind of dog do you have? He's beautiful.
What
Your
kind of
dog.
They're a breed from Spain. It's called Presa Canario.
He's
Why?
They're like 120 pounds each. They're massive. I've
he's
got more
beautiful.
dog hairs than I do me. They outweigh me by double.
Why? That's impressive. It just makes me miss our Brindle Boxer, which December was 10 years since his death.
Oh wow.
He had to be the vet. They had said that the only right thing to do is to put him to death. Because they saw and I think we saw the writing on the wall.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I mean, he's not suffering,
And he couldn't, and it couldn't be ignored, that writing on the wall.
Right.
Yeah. I like to think that he's looking over us right now.
He probably is, yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, thank you all.
Good night, all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night,
everybody.
Y'all
See you next
take
week.
care now.
And let's keep living our lives with love.
Yes.
Good one.
Love you.
See you next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.